Hello and welcome to round 14 of the PS4 America series. Today we're at the Temple of Speed, Monza, and unfortunately we got a bit of a smaller grid today with only 8 drivers. We are expecting another one to join for the race, but hopefully the drivers we have will give us a good race. We're just watching Vesselini try and get around the track at the moment. A couple of guys, nearly everyone except Chucky, who's just about to leave the pits, I believe, is out on the track. We'll follow right on board with Sterling West as he's starting his first lap now, just going through the first chicane. I'm also joined in commentary today by my Race Spec podcast mate Matt. Welcome to the stream, Matt.
Thank you. Excited to be here. Temple of Speed also always a great race, that's for sure, and a great track.
Yeah, it certainly is. Looks like dry conditions. Oh, Sterling runs a bit wide. Yeah, and on the second Lesmo there, gets a bit of gravel, and I think he's backed out of that lap. So we'll switch over to Bean Sandwich now. He's just about to start his lap. So we'll ride with him. But last week these guys unfortunately we weren't able to get their race on a stream, but they did have a wet race at Belgium, which by all accounts sounded like a really good race. So hopefully we're in for an equally exciting one today. Still waiting.
I think we will be.
Yeah. And someone has joined. I'm not sure that they're part of the league, but anyway. So we have our first driver to set some laps with Laquita Jaja with a 121.9. Hypetoaster quickly betters that though with a 120.3. GG Gaming King also putting on a time there with a 122.5. So what I'll do now, I'll just put the lap telemetry and tyre data up there so you can see what tyres everyone's running. This has been a pretty clean lap so far from Bean Sandwich on the medium compound tyre, I might add. So we'll see how he goes.
Yeah, I suspect few people just getting some siders in, only 8 runners. Most would want to start on the soft tyre and try and get that to about lap 10 and then switch over to a medium or hard depending on how badly that soft degradates during that first stint.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to do a just check that the audio is working very quickly on the stream. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's working. Cool. Make sure we don't have any technical difficulties, which is never nice.
Hyper-toaster, just a bit of cross-country there, straight across the grass. So.
Vesselini's still struggling. I think Chucky's just about to come out. Alright.
Same corner there for Vesselini as well as the previous time we saw him off. He'll probably have to come back in and give it another go. Maybe repair that front wing.
So Sterling this time is on outlap. So hopefully his second run is a bit more successful than the first one he tried.
It's a tricky track, especially through Ascari. I know in the Pacific Series a lot of people lost the rear end, including myself, through here. And it can be really tricky. You take too much of that curb and the whole car steps out. And often, even with the reduced damage, you end up having to retire from the race because you lose that left wheel. So important to keep the rear end stable through that part. I know everyone wants to go super fast, but finishing the race is always better than in the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's such a tricky corner. That last curb, so unforgiving if you get it wrong. So we're right on board with Sterling on his second attempt here while we keep talking about the track.
Yeah, that curb, you want to go over it, but if you only half commit to going over it, that's when the car becomes really unstable.
I actually, the one on the inside, on the exit.
Yeah, on the exit, if you're
Yeah.
going down the straight. Yeah.
Yeah, I try to avoid it altogether, to be honest. I try and get as
Yeah.
much curb as I can on the entry on the much better through there this time. Sterling, where he made the error last time. Yeah, the corner that Sterling's coming up to now, you want to take as much curb
Yeah.
as you can without invalidating, and that'll set you
Yeah.
up for a better run. Let's see how much curb he takes. Yeah, he avoids it altogether too. That's probably the ideal way to get through there.
Yeah, during a race, yeah, I'd probably avoid touching it. It's just too risky. But yeah, you want to go through fifth high speed into the entry, definitely, and take as much curb as possible without hitting those sausages.
Yep.
As we see, we still have 3 runners without setting a lap, so there's a few people having some difficulties with with this track, that's for sure.
Oh, and I'm hearing bit of team radio has come through, and it's apparently forecast to be a wet start to the race, turning to dry. So that should be very interesting.
Wow, yeah. That'll be because you're going to want a dry setup, so you're going to have to be careful at the start of that race and just get it around until it dries up. But
yeah, very interesting. So Chucky's out there actually rocking the old pumpkin helmet on the hard tyre though, so he's about to start his first lap. We'll ride on board with him in the Renault. Interesting choice to go out there on the hard tyres, considering it is a wet start to the race. That's kind of
yeah, I just set as fast as I can and get as high up the grid as I can.
yeah, exactly. You want to use your soft tyres.
Ironically, the worst place in an eight driver field would probably be 4th, 5th, or 6th going into turns 1 and 2. So
Yeah,
either want to
in the
be at the
middle.
back or at the front. So it would be interesting to see how that first chicane goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Got a bit of a spread in times here. The fastest is Sterling with the 1:19.8 on the softs. Hypertoaster not too far behind. But a lot of these guys on different tyres would want to get in and put those softs on.
Ooh, he gets a bit of oversteer on exit there. I think he was struggling a bit on graph. Hasn't got much battery left, so I don't. It might be his second run on the hard tyres. Might have invalidated the first one, but he is yet to set a time. Let's see if he actually puts his time in or whether he goes into pits. No, he's aborted. So, oh, he actually, sorry, he did put a time in, 1:23.1. I missed that. Vesselani's still yet to put a time on the board. Our new driver, Chris Can, I believe he did race last week at Belgium, but this is the first time that we've seen him on a race stream, as there wasn't one last week, unfortunately.
Vesselani and all sorts again. Same corner again. He's going to have to come back in and get that wing fixed and get back out. He needs to set a time.
Yeah. I think Chris is backed off as well, so he's not going to set a time yet. So Sterling's the quickest, 1:19.8. Gaming King, I believe he's running no ERS, so I don't think he's on a lap.
Yeah, he wouldn't be now. Interesting. As I said, a few people taking risks here. I mean, I would already have a decent time. I don't know how you do your qualifying spreads, but yeah. I would already have a time on softs just in case something goes really bad on my second run where I'm going to push a bit harder. So I set like a fairly aggressive time, but one that I know I'm not going to go off. And then near the end, I start to really just push it. And if I go off, I go off, sort of thing. Ironically, in the Pacific Series last night, I qualified 8th, but I was 0.6 up on my time coming around the last corner, and I ran out of fuel. So I could have qualified 2nd or 3rd, but yeah, a bit of fuel management error, I guess. I'm going to blame my engineering team.
Yeah, that's all good. Alright, so here I am. I should jump to someone on track. Let's see, Chucky. There's only two guys on track at the moment. Chucky is on an outlap as well as Sterling's on an outlap. So Sterling's probably going to start his lap first, so we'll stay with him and see if he can improve on his provisional pole time.
Sounds good. He's going to come around the first. Do you want to talk us through this lap? Alright,
go for it.
Coming down as we go over the checkered flag. Or car coming out of the pits there, maybe a little distracting. So coming into the first chicane, you want to get right down to second gear, take some curb, nicely done down to first to get that turn in. He's coming out, that was well done. Took that pretty good. And getting right up into seventh here, keeping it close. The G-forces around the corners at Monza, and you want to go right down into third, over the curb. Big bump here, but it's the fastest way across. That was well done as well. Down into fourth, not touching the curb or you'll spin, coming out, and then you want to go down into fifth here. He goes right down to fourth and a bit wide there, but does take it with speed, so he's not going to lose too much time there. Down the straight, really opening it up before we come through. Ascari here, and yeah, fourth, probably losing a little time, bit careful there, and he's gone really wide. Really wide. He probably lost at least half a second there.
Yeah, I think he caught too much of the inside curve on the middle part of the chicane there, and I think that threw him wide for the entry into the last part. So he would have invalidated on the exit because he ran wide. So it's unfortunate, but he does have still have 4 minutes, so there's enough time for another run. We'll catch the end of Chucky's lap. He's coming up to the last corner now, so it looks like he got through the Ascari all okay. So where's this lap going to put him? Nice tight line through the last corner. He goes fourth fastest with a 1:21.2. It's not too bad. He'll need to leg it back to the pits to get out again. So I don't know who else is out on a lap. Vesselani's currently on a lap. We'll just finish. He's coming up to the Ascari. See how he takes it in the Toro Rosso. Oh, I think he cut that a little bit.
He's had a lot of difficulty on this track.
Still yet to put a time on the board.
He comes down the final parabolica.
Yeah. He's the parabolica, yeah. He's going to come across the line, and that lap did not count as I thought. He cut the Ascari entry, so he'll go again.
Chris, looks like Chris can. Yeah,
he's still out there on the medium tyres, so that's very interesting. As Vesselani, don't come back on track. Oh no, that's not good. Oh dear, that wasn't great from Vesselani.
Had a lot of Vettel about it.
Came right back on track from the gravel. That's just very poor driving, unfortunately. From the Toro Rosso driver, he's really had a bad session. I think that's probably
a bit of frustration. Yeah, possibly a bit of frustration there for Vesselini. He's gone off a lot of times and just wanted to get back on the track. But he has mucked up Chris's lap there, and he hasn't set a time either, so it looks like he'll start from the back.
Yeah, very frustrating. Well, that was a bit of drama. Alright, we might see if we can jump on board with... I've just crossed over to Gaming King. He's just gone through the Ascari chicane. Really not a lot of battery left, so I'm not sure. I feel like he's on 0% now.
He must have...
He must have run hot lap on his out lap and run out. Oh, he's gone back in the pits. You're not going to have time to set another time, so his qualifying's over. Our new driver, Loquita, I'm going to have to get this right. Loquito Jaja.
Liquido Jaja. I like
Loquito
it.
Jaja. Okay, let's go with that. Coming through
The
the Ascari
Latino
now.
flavour.
He is
That's
I believe, what did he say? He's a Puerto Rican driver.
Puerto Rican, yeah.
So I believe that's our first ever Puerto Rican race spec driver. So it's really great to see all nationalities in this American series. We have a lot of heavy Canadian contingent and American contingent. So it's good to get some South Americans in there. I think he just starting that lap actually. So yeah, I'm quite sure. But anyway, Hype Toaster and Gaming King are done. Vesselini, he's still struggling out there. Chris has retired. His run was spoiled, of course. Sterling's about to start another lap, and Chucky and Bean are both behind him. Oh, Bean Sandwich is going to be hard pressed to make the line here to get a lap in. He only has
Yeah,
15
15
seconds
seconds.
left. I don't think he's going to make it. I think you need probably at least 20-25 seconds from here. 6, 7, 5, 4, 3.
Alright,
Yeah,
he's
he's
done.
gone. So his
So we've got
qualifying is
Chucky,
over.
Sterling, and Liquito Jaja is not going to set a good lap, so he's out as well. He jumped up into fourth on that last lap that he completed, so a good one from him.
Alright, we'll follow Chucky because I've got the sound glitch on Sterling's car where it's just revving really high, so we don't want to stay with that. Chucky very cautious through the
Yeah.
second chicane there.
Bring up the telemetry, not the telemetry. The lap data, and we'll see if he's going quicker when he finishes sector 2.
Yeah, we have that up on the stream. Let's see. He's up, oh, only just 2/100ths of a second.
It's going to be close.
Oh, he's got too much inside curb again. It's really dangerous. Alright, let's see what Sterling can do on his last little run. Oh, he's run wide. I think Sterling's track extended, but he does have a comfortable lead anyway.
Yeah, he's going to be out pole.
And he was half a second. And Chucky's actually backed out of his lap, so he will finish in P5, and I believe that is it for qualifying. Vesselini and Loquita are back in the pits, so that is qualifying done for the Italian Grand Prix in the PS4 America Series. Let's hope that we have a couple more drivers for the race, which would be good.
Yeah, it was an interesting qualifying session. A few people are very cautious on certain corners that maybe are having trouble with, and we only saw one or two drivers take Ascari, which is such an important part of the track, cleanly. A lot either were too afraid of that exit corner and went too far to the right, or we just went through it quite slowly and could have taken a lot more speed into that section of the race. So, be interested to see what they do. As you said, it's going to be a wet start, so a few people are going to have to be cautious, especially on these dry setups. There's going to be a lack of downforce, especially here. Keeping it on track in the wet with no downforce is going to be tricky.
Really confused as to what Bean Sandwich was trying to do in qualifying, going on the mediums and not even trying to set a. Oh, I'm not sure if he tried, but he didn't have set a time on the soft tyres. On pace, I'd probably expect him to be on the front row here, but anyway, he's got to make up some places.
Yeah, and like we said, he's put himself in the middle, which is not a great place to be in that chicane. At the back, you can sort of avoid all the carnage in front of you, and at the front, it's all behind you. So, be interested to see what he does. As we can see, it's come up. It is drizzling, so
Drizzling, yeah, it's only light rain, so it should clear up, is what they were saying. So, yeah, interesting conditions. It's always a challenge, especially intermediate conditions, because yeah, it's not really a way you can practice too much. There's no there's no time trial mode with light rain conditions. It's either dry or full wet, so it's very difficult. You're pretty much on your own as far as getting a setup for light rain conditions and knowing what to adjust. But if it is going to dry up, well, Sterling's off the track straight away, so
He's on softs. Are they all starting on softs, not on intermediates? Interesting. So it must be really light. Yeah.
Yes, they are. They're all on dry tyres. That is very interesting. Well, you definitely want to be on the softs if that's the case. If it's not wet enough for the intermediates.
Yeah.
So Bean Sandwich is really going to struggle, and we actually have a random driver in the lobby. I'm from Paris, who is in the series, has joined, but Wide Load Billy, I've never seen him before, so I think we might have made a mistake and put the lobby on open, which has allowed him to get in. But anyway, hopefully he doesn't cause too many issues.
Yeah. All right. Could make it interesting.
Yeah. It's always a worry. We do usually have the lobby on private, so there's a bit of an oversight today. I'm from Paris has actually left, so hopefully he can get back in.
Yeah, Bean Sandwich on the mediums, so you didn't change it at all. I assume they had the option to put the intermediates on, or has it been deemed dry enough that they have to stay on their qualifying top 10 tyre? It must be. Oh, someone's gone off there. The Haas driver. It's not Bean Sandwiched. The Quito judge will be relocated to the front of the grid.
Yeah. So I wonder if I'm from Paris is going to make it here.
I don't know about you,
Back
Clebs,
into the session.
I expect carnage.
I think this is going to be pretty well, yeah, it could go very, very badly in these conditions. It's a tough first corner, even in the dry. The lights are on. We got 5 lights. And away we go for the Italian Grand Prix in the PS4 America Series. Sterling actually gets a bad start, and Gaming King is up around the outside, and he's going to take the lead into the first corner.
It's torpedoed.
Oh, it's the.
That's Chris Can. It's Chris Can.
No, it was the random guy who just torpedoed his way through. Well,
oh yeah, Chris Can has got through. He's avoided all of the carnage.
Okay. What we might do, I think, before this descends into a fast, I might tell everyone to get in a new lobby, because the guy that's leading now isn't part of the series, and he completely ruined everyone's race then.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So while these guys are still racing, I will I'll go ahead and set that up myself. It's probably the best way to do it. Matt, would you be able to get the qualifying results up on the stream and read them back to me when you get the chance?
Sure.
But yeah, apologies for this in the stream, guys, but we just can't have nonsense like that, unfortunately. It's just not on. So yeah, we'll set it to invite only instead of open. It's a real shame, but anyway, just their luck, I guess. That was decent qualifying, but we'll set this up properly. I don't have any settings saved on this. Unlucky. Okay, so no custom clear.
Okay, I've got them up for you.
Official race settings on, collisions on. Okay. Okay, I think that's good. I'll just invite everyone first. Bum, 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 bum. What's that? Yeah. Okay. Alright. Alright, let's do. Where's the grid? Options. Completely forget how to change the grid. Mouse flag, this option. Custom, there we go.
Don't forget to chuck me an invite as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready. I'll read out the order.
Yeah, I completely forget how do I go to the custom grid? I always can never remember. Blah, blah, blah. Select team, track select, assist. No, I don't know where it is. Race system, custom grid. So there it is. It's right underneath it. I guess Sterling. What's the order? Sterling.
Yep, hold on. It's just disappeared off there.
Hang on, we need more drivers in the lobby first. Yeah. It's very frustrating. There you go. Should we just make it a clear race? Might as well.
Alpu Mutuk is in. You'll have to go at the back.
Oh yeah, he's in that. He's in the. Oh, cars, light cloud. Okay, that's good. Alright, give me the order.
Sterling.
Yep.
Oasters, who's not there.
Yeah.
Game King. Chucky is not there. Bean Sandwich.
Yeah.
Vestellani 66.
Yeah.
Riscan 85 is not there. I'm from Paris. And then I'll have to be Apu Mutuk after that.
Okay. That'll do. Confirm. Okay, we'll try again. Alpu needs to select a car, that's fine. Okay, you're spectating. Alright. Just tell them to ready up. Oh, we lost some drivers, but we gained one. That's, yeah, never ideal. I'm not sure what happened, but anyway.
That's right, hopefully we get a good race from here on out. Good opportunity for points for these guys, that's for sure.
Okay, so looks like we've got the light rain back. Okay, so we have 6 drivers on the grid, and we did have 9, but that's okay.
Looks a little wetter, just from my casual observation.
Alright, so they will do a formation lap. I did put that on, I'm pretty sure. Well, they are on intermediates this time, so it is a little bit wetter. I've stitched them up a little bit. So they will need to change tyres in this race. Which is good because...
Give me a good test of skill here then. You generally see the cream rise to the top in the wet weather, that's for sure.
So yeah, once again, apologies for anyone watching the stream. Might have to do some editing and edit this back out, but we did have to do a restart as we did have an unwanted guest in the lobby that kind of ruined the race, to be honest, the first time around. But we will try again.
We can see, so Sterling and Game King are going to resume hostilities at the front of the grid here. It'll be interesting to see what type of start they get this time. We saw Game King get a good start off the line and go down the outside into the first chicane. And
yeah,
being sandwiched now off those mediums, so this wet weather has worked out for him, although he did seem determined to go with that alternate strategy. Laquito Jaja's joined, but I don't think
he's a bit late. Grid. I don't know what he was doing. He had plenty of time. But anyway, it's his own fault, unfortunately. Couldn't really wait for people. We gave him every opportunity to join. So it's just unfortunate. So we are going to go with a 25% race because of the delay. So it looks like Vesselini and On from Paris have had a collision on the formation lap, which is never good, let alone in wet conditions. So I'm not quite sure what I'm seeing here. I got no lights.
Yeah, that just... I'm not sure what happened there either. I went 3 and then none, and then Couple got a good start.
I'm from Paris, jumped the start, and he'll have to do a drive-through penalty, unfortunately. Oh, hopefully there's no collisions there. It's a bit cleaner through there this time. And Gaming King actually gets a great start. There's a yellow flag back there. Who's
been sandwiched.
They all get through. They're not too bad. Certainly less carnage than the first try. And I'm from Paris is in the wall. And the McLaren, he's got significant damage on the right-hand side of that McLaren.
Had a lot of wheel spin coming out of that corner, and he's put it into the wall. Now he's got damage, so Apple Mutuk has taken over into third place. So GG Game King has taken the lead of the race.
Oh, and Balessi just goes straight on at Lesmos. There's another... Oh, wow. Game King and Sterling, we might have a little battle here.
This lady's spun around again.
Hope there's no contact there. Looks like it's okay. And I'm from Paris has somehow managed to hold P3 with that wing damage. He took a big whack from the wall, but Alpu is all over the back of him.
He's got an M plate missing. I'm from Paris. But at the front, Sterling's taken that position back, and he'll finish the first lap in the lead. But these top 5 are very close to each other.
Oh, and
2 in the pits. I'm from Paris.
Paris is in the pits, and Bean Sandwich is in the pits as well. So will these guys go straight onto to a dry tyre, Matt, or do you think it's still too wet? Can see the rain. Wet. Yeah, see it's still raining.
To be
no, they're both doing drive-through penalties. They're both not pitting, so they both jumped the start. So
I don't know what happened there. It got held for a long time, didn't it? But I only saw 3 lights. I never got to 4 or 5. So.
And Vesselini's gone straight into the back of On from Paris in the first chicane as well. He's off the track again. He's really struggling. But meanwhile, out in front, looks like Sterling's managed to keep it clean. Gaming King as well, that P2, but he's already nearly 3 seconds behind. And Alpu in P3, so we could have a Mercedes battle here. for second and third.
Sterling a little lucky to keep it on the track there. He went wide onto the gravel, but kept it straight, kept the lead. And yeah, you're right. Apple Matuk is catching Gaming King, that's for sure. Taking about half a second out of this lap so far. And we'll see what I'm from Paris and Bean Sandwich can do here. I'm pretty sure I'm from Paris is still missing an M plate, so he's probably going to have to try and get through till he can switch tyres if this dries up. Otherwise, he'll just be too far behind if he changes that front nose and goes into the pits again. But Sterling quite comfortable now, 2.5 seconds ahead.
Yeah. The closest battle on track, actually, Alpu is caught right up to the back of Gaming King, but this battle here between I'm from Paris and Bean Sandwich, two guys that had to do drive-through, as Paris goes defensive on the inside, it looks like he'll hold the inside through the first chicane, but Bean is all over the back of him, and it looks like we might have a battle here into the next chicane, or into the Lesmos. Such is the gap between third and fourth already. It's already 20 seconds. These Mercedes will do battle.
Yeah, I'd stick with this. Apple Matuk is right over the gearbox, and he's going to have a look here. He's going to go round the outside. He's carried a lot of speed in there.
And he's
going to get himself a little crooked. Oh, pushes him wide, but they both stay on the track. And they're going to go side by side into the Parabolica. Who's going to hold the line here in the wet conditions? Don't want to take too much speed here, going right around the outside.
Well, as Alpu leaves a lot of room for Gaming King, which is good to see. Oh, but Alpu... Oh...
Did he get damaged, or has he managed to keep it on?
No, I think he kept it. I think it was just a slide, so all he's lost is time, unfortunately. But he did take the very wide line there to give Gaming King enough room, and Vesselini's actually left, so he's had enough of the wet conditions, running 30 seconds behind everyone else. But Bean, again, down this main straight, trying to get this move done on Paris. He's got a better run this time, and down the inside he goes, rather. Should be able to make that move stick. Good racing from both these guys. Oh, and Paris is right behind him. See if he can, who gets the better exit. Looks like both have got pretty good exits. Is Paris going to have the energy and slipstream to make a move? No, it doesn't. Looks like... Oh, that'll be a warning for Bean for cutting that corner. He gets a really poor exit. And I'm from Paris, actually inside on the first Lesmo. But Bean holds her around the outside. Both drivers very cautious in these tricky conditions. So
yeah, I'm from Paris, driving very well, considering the damage she does have on the front wing of that car, that McLaren. And Apple Matuk's actually making up time, so it won't be long before he's going to have another crack, I reckon. And this time he'll want to keep it off the curbs, very slippy in the wet conditions. Such a curve, that's normally the end of your race, so he's done very well to keep it on track. But he is catching, and it won't be long before they resume hostilities, Gaming King and Apple Matuk. And Sterling's just very comfortable out in front. Probably just make sure he keeps it on the track. Ferrari's out by himself now. It's important to keep the concentration here, because it would not be hard in these conditions to lose a rear end and ruin your race when all you needed to do was make sure you got it around the track. And Apple Matuk's got right up to Gaming King, and he's going to have another look soon.
Absolutely.
And Bean Sandwich is making up ground as well on these two. So
very
Paris is trailing him as well, but he's made him about 5-6 seconds.
Alpu runs deep into the Ascari and goes into the gravel, so he just lost all that time he gained. think he lost about 4 seconds there, unfortunately. So yeah, all the time he made up from his mistake before, he's lost again. So track is, I'm not sure it's starting to dry out, but I can definitely see that the rain has stopped. There's no droplets of rain falling. So I think these guys would probably
typically
we have to go on the dry tyres before the end of the race.
Yeah, typically when the rain stops, you have normally about 3 or 4 laps before Jeff starts calling you in. But who will take the gamble? There is an opportunity here to go onto the softs and effectively do a Lance Stroll and get a couple of hot laps in on the soft tyres before anyone else changes. As we saw him do that in Germany, finish with a nice 4th for Racing Point. But Apomotic definitely has more speed than Gaming King, but not the consistency in the wet. He's a quicker car, not as consistent, and we all know in F1, consistency is king. And that's what Sterling's got out at the front at the moment in the Ferrari, 8 seconds ahead of Gaming King now. At the rate that Bean Sandwich is catching, it's another second in that lap. Don't count him out for getting up into the podium as well.
Yeah, no,
especially if he has quick pace
good pace. Yeah.
Paris has dropped off a fair bit now. It looks like that damage is catching up to him. Alpha Mutuk sets the fastest lap of the race, and he is caught up to the Gaming King. And he's not going to have a look here, but he will be soon. 2 silver arrows going at it, and this is the 4th time he wants to try and get past Gaming King, and the stout defense of Gaming King kept him behind and actually forced him into some errors. So has a little peak there, but doesn't go for it. I dare say now in the next straight he's going to go for it.
Oh, he runs a little wide on the first Lesmo.
Too eager. Whether the hot air coming off the back of the Mercedes is making it a little unstable, I'm not sure. I know the game does bring in the unstable braking when you're too close to the back of the car in front, makes it a bit harder to brake. Oh, very wide from Gaming King there. That's going to give him an opportunity. And we saw what happened last time around the Parabolica. It's going to happen again. Deja vu, side by side. And Applemutic's going to have to go the long way around
again. Yeah, let's see if he keeps on track this time. He does. So they're going to go side by side. He's going to tuck in and get some slipstream first, and then see if he can get the move done. He is up the inside.
And he has the DRS. He'll get this done. Did DRS open then? No, it shouldn't be DRS. It's not dry enough yet, is it?
No.
I thought I saw it flick open.
No, usually race control usually comes up with DRS enabled on the screen.
So not dry enough yet.
So not dry enough yet. We do only have 5 laps left though, so let's see if it gets dry enough to even go on the slick tyres. That'd be very interesting.
I think from Paris has had a moment because there was some yellow flags and he's now 10 seconds further behind the Bean Sandwich. So I think his race is done. He'll have to hold for that 5th position. But now it's all about can Gaming King strike back against his Mercedes teammate. And that's what we're going to be looking at for most of the rest of this race.
Chris Can has joined, but I think that's about 20 minutes too late, mate.
Slightly falling behind. We need to cross to our man in the pits to tell us if it's drying up or what Jeff's doing.
Yeah.
Apple Motek has a lot of difficulty around that parabolica. He goes wide every single lap, and it's putting a lot of stress, certainly on me, because I think he's going to go off every single time, and he manages to hold on to it. So he's really pushing the limits here, trying to stay ahead of Gaming King, who is tucked up nicely behind him with that slipstream down Monza. So effective, even in the wet, it still gives you a fair bit of tow. And this is the ghosted out car of Vesselini. They need to go through here. And Sterling in the Ferrari, I've just had a quick look at how he's progressing, and it's just nice, smooth racing.
Yeah, we'll cross to Sterling. And Chris is still trying to join, but he missed the boat, mate, unfortunately. So, Sterling coming in a world of his own there with an 11-second lead.
And just driving nicely now, pretty smooth, and he knows he's got this lead wrapped up. He just needs to keep it on the track. And Gaming King is not falling behind Apple Metrics, so I think something's going to happen between these two before the end of the race. It's now getting to the point now it's not worth coming in for that. That pit stop time is going to be longer than probably going on to the slicks. So they'll be staying on the intermediates for the remainder of this race. I dare say Bean Sandwich is let off as well. He's not pushing as hard anymore. He's down out to 18 seconds. But it'll just depend on whether Gaming King wants second place on the podium and how desperately he wants it. Is he willing to take some risks in the small field to try and get that place back from Apple Mutuk?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not quite drying up fast enough to go all slick, hey. As Gaming King is really struggling for grip through the second Lesmo there. Barely keeps it on track. Lost about a second there. But yeah, it looks like it feels all pretty spread out. But everyone that finishes, well, Vesselini's left the session, so he won't finish, but the top 5 guys we have at the moment will all score those points, so yeah. Bit of a shame that we have such a small grid today, but yeah, sometimes that's just the way it is.
He's coming in. GG Gaming King is coming in. He's going to gamble.
Is he going to go on the dry tyre? He must be.
Well, what's a pit stop in Italy? About 22 seconds? 23 seconds?
Yeah, he's got an 18-second gap back to Bean.
So he'll probably come out behind him, and he's going to have to pass him. So, interesting. But if he can make up a big chunk here, he could put some pressure on the last 2 laps. But it's going to have to be some blistering laps here on this soft. And he's put some pressure on himself. He's got 6 seconds to make up. So let's see if he can do it. This will give us a bit of excitement to the end of the race. Can Gaming King catch
the 6 seconds?
Unfortunately, we won't get an accurate sort of lap time because he's come out of the pits, but it's lap 12. It gives the picture, a good picture of how much faster the soft tyre is. We've got a yellow flag. Oh, I'm from Paris has gone off.
Has he? Okay.
No real consequences there. It's just doing a few donuts, getting back on the track. But we should stick with Gaming King because that's where the inquiry is. Are these softs going to get it done? Oh, he's lost it. He's going to hit the wall. Oh, it keeps it. Luckily didn't retire.
Oh.
Possibly pushing too hard.
Yeah, a little bit hard.
did well not to lose a front tyre there, and that would have been devastating, taking the gamble and then having to retire from the race, ending
Yeah,
a few more
absolutely.
points down from Paris.
Was as he picks up Alpu picks up the 3 second time penalty, but yeah, it looks like the gamble hasn't paid off. I don't think he'll be able to catch 13 seconds on this lap. So he will lose that position of being sandwiched. He's thrown away a podium here, but yeah, I'm not. I did think it'd dry up for us at the end of the race, so everyone could go on the dry tyres, but it wasn't the case, unfortunately. So, well, that happens.
Yeah, he has gambled there. Not sure that what he was gambling for, because he's put himself would have put himself about 22 seconds behind Applemutic, plus however much he was in front. So I don't see him making up that kind of time in two laps. So he probably needed to stay out on those intermediates and just limp around until he finished the race.
Yeah.
As
There we
Sterling now
go.
is on
It just
final lap.
came up with DRS enabled, so that's usually the crossover between when the wet tyres become slower than the dry tyres.
Yeah.
So Gaming King should be on the better tyre now, but again, he's now got to chase down Bean in 13 seconds. So unless Bean has a big off on this last lap, he should be pretty safe for P3. And Alpu's going to take P2.
Bean has had a moment.
Has
He
he?
had a moment in the first chicane, no damage or anything, but he had to slow right down to go through that chicane. So has he opened the door here? Not with a 5 second penalty to GG Game King. That's not going to help. So some pretty good driving from Sterling up the front. A couple of these guys are racing in our Global Series on the Sunday, so I'll be in that racing against a few of these guys. I'm pretty excited about that. They've got some pretty good drivers, so it'll be a good series. Sterling has finished first. Well driven from the Ferrari driver.
Oh, yeah.
And
Totally,
the TFOC will be ecstatic.
very happy with that. Ferrari winning at Monza. Sorry I didn't get you crossing the line, Sterling. But yeah, congratulations on the win. Alpu comes home in P2. And then Bean's just coming around the Parabolica now. And he will take P3 from what was a pretty ordinary qualifying from him. So quite lucky to manage a podium here with the restarted race. Gaming King picks up a 5 second unserved penalty anyway. I think that must have been from speeding in the pit lane when he came in for his pit stop, but he took the gamble to go on to the soft tyres and it didn't really work for him. Yeah, the track just not drying out fast enough, and I'm from Paris is going to come home in P5 with half a front wing, but that's still good points for the McLaren driver. He'll be very happy with that. Vesselini, his ghost did finish, but will not score those points as he retired from the session or left the session. So that's it. That's been the Italian Grand Prix. Again, our apologies for the having to restart. Oh, look at those really bald intermediate tyres on the Ferrari at the rear. The realism in this game is quite impressive sometimes. But, yeah, congratulations to Sterling, Alpu, and Bean on the podium. Hopefully, we can get more drivers on the grid in this series and be back next week. Yeah, it wasn't long ago, 4 or 5 rounds ago, that we were getting 18 drivers on the grid each week, 18, 19. So yeah, it's obviously a bit worrying from there, but we'll need to get everyone back on the grid more regularly to make this series a success till the end. So we'll leave it there for today. But thanks for joining me, Matt, in commentary.
No problems. That's all good. It was an enjoyable race.
Great. Okay. Well, yeah. Thank you to anyone that's joined us on the stream. A bit of a long one, unfortunately, because of the having to restart the race. But yeah, appreciate the drivers that showed up today and raced in the restart. And we'll see you next week.